Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. And genuinely, I don't know what to say. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to even. Because let's be real. Everything that Arsenal fans were doing, stay humble and everything. Let's be real. We ourselves should be humble because we haven't won anything and we act like we have won everything. Basically, we are a club who hasn't won the league in 21 years, who hasn't won FA Cup in 5 years, and we haven't won even Carabao Cup in 30 plus years. Not even to mention Champions League, of course. So how can we act like we have won everything to be so, I don't know, entitled to everything? I have no idea. But ultimately, yeah, Newcastle did what everyone expected. They played like they were 2-0 down. They ultimately did that. And we got absolutely embarrassed. It was a spineless, gutless, embarrassing, pathetic performance yesterday. And not gonna lie, it was awful. Doesn't get worse than that, because yesterday it was a shit show, to say the least. Never looked like we're gonna do anything, yet Newcastle should be about 4-5-0 up. On aggregate, we lost 4-0 to Newcastle. 4-0. We have played 3 games this season against Newcastle, and we haven't managed to score a goal yet. And still on game week 37, we play Newcastle at home. And God knows what's going to happen then. Because we don't know where we're going to be in the league, how it could go, or anything. Because ultimately, yesterday's game, whether you like it or not, up until now, was the most important game of Arsenal's season this season. Because this was arguably our last chance, the biggest chance, the best chance, let's just put it that way. This game was the best chance for us to get to any final and to actually win. Potentially, if we get into the final, let's be real. Because Wembley, Arsenal, finals, we have good thing going on there, let's be real. But ultimately, it was embarrassing. And I don't know whether to rant, whether to be just sad, whether to cry, whether to make a massive uproar or something. But overall, it was pathetic, it was embarrassing, and it was just indescribably awful how it went all down yesterday. We never presented pretty much any threat. Every single player, abysmal. Like, there's nothing more to say. I'm lost for words to describe yesterday's performance. Martinelli is injured. How long he's going to be out for, who knows. So we basically could be having us attacking front in 10 days of Raheem Sterling, Yeri, and Trossard up top. One Havertz mix and match given the situation. Who knows? If one of them goes down, it's even bigger curtains. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other stuffs, bits and bobs here. But ultimately, it's going to be a painful Arsenal therapy type of session today. We're going to talk about things that might be very uncomfortable to some people who maybe support Arteta to the maximum extent or something. But it's going to get ugly at some point. It genuinely will get ugly, and I have no idea when, but it's going to get to that point. But yeah, of course, if you're new around here, smash thumbs up. Like the stream, subscribe if you're new around here, leave your thoughts down in the live chat, let me know how you feel about yesterday's game and everything. And ultimately, what do you expect from Arsenal this season? What do you expect Arsenal do this season? Because like, it's getting uglier and uglier by the minute, by the second, by the minute, by the hour, however you want to name it. It's getting uglier, and even more ugly, let's be real. So yeah, I think let's talk about Newcastle game and then we gonna go from there. First things first, big up BBK Sports, big up my guy. Yeah, I know, you wanna come live, I know. But I cannot do it just yet. I'm just putting it that way. I cannot do it now, but sometime next week, there should be this thing happening. Sometime Next week, I don't know whether it's gonna be Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or when, but I will have basically everything set up for the fact that I can have people on the stream. We can have call-in shows. You can kind of come on, discuss your opinions, tell me your thoughts about everything. We can have open discussions in the just live on stream and everything, not just through chat, but genuinely face to face in terms on stream. So that is coming next week at some point. I already have graphics set up and everything. I just need to sort out StreamYard to the maximum extent. So that is gonna take time, and so it's gonna happen sometime next week. Only just the question is ultimately when. But it's not far off. Next week at some point I'm gonna set everything up and it's gonna happen. But now, let's talk about this Newcastle game, because there's nothing much to say. Nothing much to say. It's been happening countless times for Arsenal. Arsenal, it's not just a one-off. People try to tell me that it's just a one-off. Arsenal are not that bad. And overall, we are not that bad, but we play that bad. And everything basically stems down from the ownership to the manager, that, as Arteta loves to say the word transmit, that basically transmits into players. And we just had this spineless, gutless, and pathetic performance at the end of the day. But yeah, Arsenal put out this starting 11, which ultimately you could argue is the best 11 we can put out. Genuinely, that is the best 11 we can put out. And yeah, and that's where it ends basically, because since first kick of the game, we never looked like we gonna be anything. It was basically what everyone expected to happen at basically at St. James Park. Because, yes, we beat Man City 5-1, but people got very carried away with that. Genuinely got very, very carried away with that. Let's be real. And they thought, oh, we're gonna go and blitz Newcastle. It's never gonna happen. I, in my preview, predicted that we gonna win 2-1. I said that we are not gonna go through, and we're gonna win 2-1. And mostly I said it because we were losing, and I thought we would actually show some energy, some fight, some actual fact that we care to maximum extent. But based how we were playing, again, as I said, spineless, gutless, it feels like our minds, players' minds, already were in Dubai. Because before the game it got announced, and even before that, after that game, Arsenal tomorrow morning are flying to Dubai. It felt like they are already in Dubai, chilling, warm weather, on the beach, drinking cocktails and everything. It felt like that type of performance. Nobody played up to their standards. Nobody was good enough. Ultimately, nobody. Nobody. Big up BBK. Yeah, I'm still fuming. And it kind of, like they say, especially in medicine, and psychology says there are 5 stages of grief and everything. Like with Arsenal, it feels like I'm going through that almost every single time. Every single game. It feels that way. Almost every single game I go to 5 stages of grief. That's how it feels like watching Arsenal and supporting Arsenal currently, as wild as it sounds. But let's do player ratings. Let's talk about player per player, see where this takes us. Because it's not going to be pretty, let's be real. The player ratings are not going to be nice, they're not going to be beautiful, they genuinely gonna be ugly as hell. And of course, on top of all that, injury worries, trip to Dubai, and we're gonna talk about some small transfers. Yes, transfer window has closed and we are still talking about transfers, as embarrassing, pathetic, and shambolic as it sounds, of course. But yeah, let's kick things off with David Raya. I'm not sure what happened to him this game, and to be honest with everyone, I can say that, but David Raya, it felt like we had better checking goal. He cannot distribute with his feet. We all know that we all saw that Czech wasn't good enough, and that's how Raya felt. He wasn't good enough. He has to take half of the blame for the second goal we conceded. Let's be real, the pass to Rice when he's fully covered, who the hell does that? Who the hell does that with that pass? Who the hell does that? Just embarrassing and pathetic, let's be real. Distribution, not up to par. Goalkeepership in general, not up to par. He gets a 5. 5, nothing more. I cannot give more than a 5 for David Raya. Moving on to Jurrien Timber. Arguably one of the worst games I've seen for him, was running around like headless chicken half the time. Tackles, passing, everything just not good enough. Fully not good enough. And it's pretty much evident that Eddie Howe has Arteta's number, big time. Arteta doesn't know how to play against him. Remember 22-23 season when we were flying and Newcastle came to the Emirates, right? And they, for the first 10-15 minutes, they tried to go toe-to-toe with us like they play today. And Arsenal genuinely were picking them apart left, right, and center. After that, Eddie Howe switched to 4-5-1 or something like that, or 5-4-1, right? And we got hold to the goalless draw. 0-0 it was, the game finished. And that was, I think, the first time Arsenal didn't win at Emirates in that season. And Eddie Howe basically showed the blueprint then, how to stop Arsenal. And Eddie Howe showed today, well, yesterday, how to stop Arsenal big time. How to stop them in the league, how to stop them in the cups, and how to stop them also in Champions League. Because no matter who we play against, if we play against mid-low blocks, we have no idea what we're doing. Let's be real. We generally have no idea what we're doing. If we play against teams that are basically somewhat open, they try to press and everything, we have a field day. We can exploit the open gaps, we can run in behind and utilize that to the maximum advantage for our team. Of course. But when it comes to mid-low blocks, we have no idea how to do this. When we play these mid-low blocks, and that's almost every single team we play, we basically play the same style like we were playing against a team that would be pressing us left, right, and center. And that is never going to work. There's no adaptability, no plan B, no plan C, D, E, F, whatever the name of the letter of the alphabet you name. There is no tactical evolution for Mikel Arteta. He plays one style or no style at all. And when nothing works, he decides to cross the ball. He decides to cross the ball. And why we are doing this? As if that was previously proven that it's going to work. It has never worked before. It didn't happen against Inter, didn't happen against Newcastle last time. I was expecting something different, something new, something unique for this game specifically compared to the previous game in the cup we played against Newcastle when we lost at Emirates. But let's be real, we didn't see anything different. It was the same style, same players, same patterns, same ideas, nothing new, nothing fresh, same old, same old, same old. And as we all know, it's pretty much evident that definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And currently Arsenal are the definition of insanity because we play the same style, same way against almost everyone and we expect different results. Yes, there are teams we beat, but ultimately we don't beat everyone. We just got done over most of the time. We struggle heavily. Most of the teams we play against, we should not be struggling this hard. Like, how is that even possible? If you look at the teams that have won the titles, they never struggle this much against any team. Yes, you can have 1 or 2 games where you struggle like we struggled yesterday, because you can have off days. But with Arsenal, these struggles are consistent almost every week. And we basically win just due to the fact that at some level we have better players. For some one moment on brilliance at random times. We just don't have those players who have this magical moment in them, who can create something out of nothing like Aubameyang did, like Alexis did. We don't have those players who can take the game by the scruff of its neck and carry us over the line. Because the way we were playing yesterday, it was like we have no energy and no desire to play. As I said, it felt like we were mentally already in Dubai. The way Newcastle played, it felt like they are 2-0 down and they need to score at least 2 goals to make it to go to extra time. Arsenal never looked to that extent. Timber gets a 4 for me. Timber for me gets a 4. Moving on to the other side, left back, Miles Lewis-Skelly. I would say, arguably the worst performance he has had in an Arsenal shirt, as of yet, for now at least. The worst performance. Again, there were things he did very good. There were some things he did good. But overall, another subpar performance. Another player that was not good enough. And to some extent, I don't know if he wasn't emotionally ready or what. Or maybe the Haaland celebration has basically stuck in his head. But again, it's not good enough. Not good enough. And he's getting 4 for me as well. Not good enough. Gabriel, Center back pairing, arguably one of the best center back pairings in the world currently, yet they cannot defend. It feels like both of our center backs are legitimately scared of Alexander Isak. They got spun in the first 5 minutes of the game. First 5 minutes. And then it was a continuation throughout the rest of the game. They don't know how to defend against Isak. Either is the tactics, either it's just the player himself, who knows at the moment, because there are not many strikers, forwards in general, that on certain level possess such a complete around game like Alexander Isak has. He can do everything. And I think our center backs are just not used to that. They don't know how to defend that. They know how to defend most of the time against Haaland. They know how to defend against most of the attackers in Premier League, because most of the number 9s are very easy to defend to an extent that they are one-trick ponies. They have one main thing they do, and if they do other things, it's very, very rare. But as soon as they come up against a bit more mobile play, for example, number 9, who can dribble, who can pass, who has the pace, who's actually strong, and who can throw a challenge at them, they generally get lost. We cannot cover Isak. The goals Isak scored, the first one which was offside. Oh my god. That was phenomenal finish. Phenomenal finish to say the least. He got just unlucky that it was offside. Gabriel gets a 4 for me. 4. Moving on to Saliba. And I don't know what to say. For Saliba, this was one of the worst performances I have seen. And that includes games when he was at Saint Etienne, when he was at Marseille, when he was at those teams even. I would put it that way. Whether he's not fully recovered and he was rushed back against Wolves and everything, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But the way he was playing, the way he got spun, the way he got the yellow card, it felt like we have another David Luiz at center back, not William Saliba. It felt like it was prime Squillaci or Igor Stepanos at center back, not William Saliba. And to add on top of that, by the way, to some extent I kind of feel like mentally, I'm not sure whether it is or not, but based on the interviews he's giving out and the way he has played on certain occasions, it feels like partially mentally he's checked out. He already, with one foot, is in Madrid. That's how it feels like. Because there's no chance in hell that his performances or any top level player's performances can drop so drastically in span of just a blink of an eye. It feels like he's mentally checked out and partially already at Madrid. Whether it's going to happen this summer or next summer or when his contract runs out remains to be seen. But currently it feels like it's just a matter of time. The way he speaks about trophies, that he must win trophies, that to be called world class he must win trophies, that he wants to win trophies, he wants to be one of the best. It has all indications that if Arsenal don't win, he's done. He's gone. And by the time he's gone, in that itself lies the other issue. Okay, one thing is if we lose him, right? We sell him, for example, 100 million, 120 million, right? We sell him. The other issue is, how are we going to replace him? Because pound per pound, you cannot replace him. He has a unique set of skills as a center back. Very unique. And you are not going to replace him. And to add on top of that, do I trust this board, this ownership, this manager to replace him to such extent? No, I don't. There's a bigger chance that they're gonna sign another project player, another one for the future, like a 22-year unproven center back, and wing it basically, rather than to sign a proper already established center back that can instantly slot into the team and actually raise the level, or at least try and keep the same level Saliba has set. Like this, there has so many factors, so many variables currently with William Saliba that needs to be addressed. It's actually insane. It's actually insane. And Saliba, for me, for yesterday's performance, gets a 2. A 2! Big up Liam, watching the game yesterday after a tooth extraction is not one. Dude. Best case scenario, while you were watching the game after the tooth extraction, you were still under the drugs. and you didn't feel the pain and you were a bit giddy, like hee hee haha. That was the best case scenario. If you had the toothache going still after the extraction, right, if you had one pulled out or something, if it's a wisdom teeth or something, and you were watching Arsenal, that was probably hell enough, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, William Saliba for me gets a 2. Just pathetic. Pathetic. Disgraceful, yeah. Gutless, embarrassing, pathetic. Dude, don't even... I was pissed off yesterday. Probably people who follow me on X or Twitter, however you want to pronounce it, have seen it. I was pissed off. I went to bed. I woke up. Had a bit of a grief, acceptance that we are shit again. We basically are never gonna win anything. And afterwards I just, well, it is what it is. Arsenal are Arsenal. They're never gonna win anything under this manager, ultimately. And this ownership by the looks of things as well. In general, I'm okay. In general, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty damn good. Tomorrow's Friday, and next week it looks like I actually might set up StreamYard finally, so I can have call-in shows. I can have talks with viewers. I can maybe have some other streamers on and everything, because I already have a talk with Arsenal X-Rated TV. I have talked with BBK Sports. I've talked with a few people who want to get on streams, and probably most likely I'm gonna go to their streams as well. So it's in the making. Should happen at some point next week, that everything. So we're gonna see. Should be next week at some point. It's, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know when. But graphics I have set up for StreamYard. It's just the fact that I just want to purchase the necessary package so I can have 1080p 60 FPS streams, and I can have multiple things happening at the same time and everything. You get the gist, because I don't want to stream in lower quality, so it's kind of rough in that regard. I am from Latvia, if that means anything to you. Big up. I get that. After tooth extractions, it's hell on earth. It genuinely is hell on earth. Because I have had my tooth... some tooth extracted one as well. And the first few days, it's... let's just say... it makes you question certain things. Yeah, big up. Thanks. Okay, moving into the midfield. Declan Rice, Declan Couscous. Declan Rice, yesterday, it was not the rice you actually cook properly. It's the rice you basically scrape from the bottom of the pot when you burn the rice. It's that one that, the one that stinks the whole kitchen and everything. It's, you don't want to eat it, but you're hungry, so you have to. It's that type of rice performance it was. It was embarrassing. Rice for me gets a 4, but ultimately, like, so many things are left to be desired, so more, it's actually embarrassing. And 105 million, it feels like we hell overpaid in that regard, massively. I would have paid maximum 60, 70 million for Declan Rice. Yeah, basmati rice, basically, that's what it was. Thomas Partey. Well, there was no party yesterday. He was shocking. It was Thomas' funeral yesterday, not Thomas' party. It was one of those games where you legit want to check his birth certificate and see if he's actually 31 or he's 61. Like, it was that bad. It was, again, one of those performances where he basically makes you question everything you know of actually how good he is. And that is the biggest issue. And if these performances like this makes me quite heavily not want to sign him, like re-sign him. And I don't think Arsenal will re-sign him. That is the big thing. I don't think Arsenal will re-sign him as well long term. So he's gone. I think he genuinely is gone. Of course he's not a box-to-box. Arteta is a moron in that regard. Rice is not a box-to-box, let's be real. Partey is not a box-to-box or a right back. The two are holding sixes. If we play like 4-2-3-1 with double pivot, then I would get the point, maybe. But overall, they're not. They genuinely are not. Arteta is playing him in wrong position. He should be a DM. Exactly. He should be playing one or the other at the end of the day. not both. That's the big thing here. But yeah, Thomas Partey gets a 3. And now we move. I don't even know how to phrase this. Now we move to our so-called captain. A captain who gets subbed off more than any other captain I have seen in my lifetime watching football games. A captain who basically is hiding every big game we have, who cannot strike a ball, who cannot pass the ball properly anymore, and who is weaker than a piece of paper. We are getting to Martin Odegaard. Our captain, a guy in these situations who should be encouraging the team, who should be leading by example, gets hooked off in 60th minute. That shows and tells you everything you need to know that he's not the captain. He's not the guy. He's not even the main guy. Because for me, first of all, he should be stripped of captaincy. Give it to Gabriel. First of all. Exactly. Strip the captaincy. He's so bad, he annoys me. Exactly. And second of all, for me, Martin Odegaard is not your main creator. He can be a second backup dancer to the main creator, right? Like, for example, he could be a backup dancer to Cesc Fabregas if he had someone like that in the team, like proper ball distributor and creative spark. Odegaard is not the main guy. He can play the secondary role for that, as a left 8, for example. But for him in the 10, he genuinely is not it. He's not it by any means. No chance in hell. Odegaard, for me, for yesterday's performance, gets a 1. And that is solely because he managed to put on his shirt properly. That's it. He runs with snot in his hair, with snot on his arms, snot dripping into his mouth. He has it on the arm, on the shirt. Then he snots in, then he has in its hair, uses it like hair gel. That's all he's good at. If wiping snot was a professional sport, he probably would be the champion every single time. It's just insane. That is mad. He's worse than Ozil with his ghosting of big games. True, Ozil didn't have the work rate because Ozil could create at least. Ozil just didn't have the work rate. That's about it. Odegaard, obviously, how comes the two best number 10s arguably we have had in the last arguably decade are the ones that when it matters the most both disappear. They both go in hiding, go hibernating like a bear in the winter sleep. How comes that works? How does it work like that? Big up Kwame, big up shambolic performance last night. Oh, you said it. That's even an understatement to some extent. I think we going to Dubai will help us, then we are meh. If we think that going to Dubai will help us, dude, that is actually insane. I've seen top gooners on social media saying, oh, let's go to Dubai, let's eat salt-based meat and pause first of all. Let's go eat some meat and everything and we will do the same thing as last year. No, we won't. No, we won't whatsoever. Saka has flown there. Martinelli, both of them have flown to Dubai. Yes, recovering from hamstring injuries and stuff like that in warm weather, hot weather, it's much better than in cold weather, obviously. But why we are going to Dubai? Why we are rewarding failure? And why the hell flying to Dubai has been announced before the games are done? Because let's be real, the way we played yesterday, as I said, it felt like mentally we had checked out already. All the team already was in Dubai, on the beach, drinking cocktails, getting suntan and everything. They were not focused on getting the 2-0 deficit back whatsoever. We were playing already in cruise control, in summer mode, as if we don't care. I've seen Sunday games more competitive than this. I've seen 15-year-old, 10-year-old football kids football matches to players give more crap than these gave yesterday. It was actually embarrassing. Yeah, exactly. Gabriel should be our captain. If we kept Tierney, I'd give Arman. I would still give it to Gabriel. Tierney could be the captain's assistant. I could give him captain's assistant. I could give him that. Exactly. Dubai, for what rewarding felt? Exactly. We don't have money to sign players, but we have money to fly to Dubai. Amazing, isn't it? They shouldn't fly to Dubai. They should fly, I don't know, to Alaska and shovel snow for the all 10 days. Those who talk that nonsense thinking going to Dubai will save our... They are mad. They're deluded to maximum extent. Haaland was right to stay humble. Why? We are so entitled to anything. We haven't won league in 20 plus years. We haven't won FA Cup in 5 years. We haven't won Carabao Cup in 32 years. And we never have won Premier League. What premises, what background, what reasoning do we have to be so loud, to scream all the time, and to act like we own the place? Like we are the best thing since sliced bread. What merit do we have to act that way? City have done a 4P. They have won trebles and everything. They have the reason. Haaland in one season won more than Arteta has won in 5 years, 6 years as the manager. Haaland in the time he's been at City has won more than Arsenal in the last decade. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, seriously, what the hell are we doing here? It's okay, we have beat Man City trophy. Exactly, we have beat Man City trophy. Woohoo! We had the most goals scored last year in Premier League for Arsenal's history. What a trophy for Arsenal. The best record against top 6. What a trophy for Arsenal. Like, it's just so dumb. It's so pathetic. And the worst part is, the big part of fan base accept this. It's like, it's a casual thing. It means nothing. It's like getting top 4 is a trophy to them. Oh, at least we tried. A participation prize, which you get when you are like 9 years old and you finish 3rd. Like finishing 2nd at the end of the day, you are the first loser. You are not winner. At the end of the season, only the first team gets the trophy. Not 2nd place, not 3rd place, not 4th place, nobody else, just the 1st place. It basically, in the course of 38 games, it shows the team who has been the most consistent, not the best one. Also to some extent. To be honest, that's the big thing. Havertz isn't a striker. When we signed Kai Havertz, right? Mikel Arteta in an interview said himself he signed him to be a midfielder, left 8. That didn't work for half a season. Then he stuck him up top. He basically used the tactics, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And that stuck for half a season. He went in the goal scoring purple patch. And then he thought that will carry out the whole season this year. Mind you, Havertz is the top goal scorer in Arsenal's team this year. 14 goals, 15 goals. But the chances he misses overall throughout the whole season, if that was a proper striker instead of Kai Havertz, he wouldn't be on 15 goals. He would be on about 25, 26 goals in all competitions. And let's be real, we would still be in FA Cup. Bigger chance we would still be in Carabao Cup. Most likely we would be on top of the league as well in Premier League. Let's be real. But no, we are trying to sign a striker. Are we even trying to sign a striker? That's even a bigger question. Because these journalists, ITKs, these idiots who lie all the time, by the way, these days, just to gas up and to protect the clubs, we don't know if it's true or not at the end of the day. We basically let Aubameyang go for free. We paid him off to go. Are we trying to replace Aubameyang for 3 years now? I don't know. A team that was used to known for having some of the most deadliest strikers in the league. Historically, Arsenal have been known for that. Currently have goddamn Kai Havertz up top. Kai Havertz. A guy who cannot score in a brothel. Who misses empty net from 2 yards out. Who has a donkey. Who refers himself as a donkey. Who, when tries to shoot with his head, closes his eyes and prays he hits the ball. Like, what are we doing? Yesterday, by the way, on the pitch, he spent more time lying on the grass than he did on his feet. He gets a 1 for me for yesterday's performance as well. Embarrassing, pathetic, and shambolic to say the least. That is the worst. Just 65 million down the drain. And that's where it stops. No Kai Havertz scores again, no nothing. You can say 65 million down the drain. Arsenal ball everything again. You can sing that, but that's about it. Yeah, Arteta cannot lead us to trophies. He was an average player as well. We signed him to replace Cesc Fabregas, who went to Barcelona from us. That went well, that didn't it? We signed Arteta to replace Fabregas. That was fantastic thing. He's a midfielder, yet he cannot ID a proper midfielder to save his life. Imagine that. And now he has the 15 million a year contract. He oversees pretty much everything, has final call on everything, and we get nothing. We get nothing but pain. No tactical adjustments, no nothing. Every single game, when things are not going our way, the camera turns to Arteta. He basically has either deer in headlights look, or he's turning to AirPod Albert and looking and asking for advice what to do. He is utterly clueless. He is not a winning manager. How can you be a winning manager unless you have winning mentality installed at you as when you were a player? Most of the players who are successful as coaches have won stuff. Arteta has won, well, nothing, let's be real. If once he goes from Arsenal, he's not getting another big club. No big club is gonna take him. No self-respecting big club is gonna take him. Arteta is so stubborn because he doesn't want to accept facts. He needs a number 9, but he says no. He doesn't want to admit when he's wrong. When last year, December 19th, right? 5 years he was officially in charge of Arsenal. December 19th last year. Before the game, before Christmas, he got asked a question. Does he regret any decisions he has made in 5 years as an Arsenal coach, as an Arsenal manager? You know what his answer was? I don't regret any single decision I have made. So basically, he doesn't regret letting Aubameyang go. He doesn't regret exiling players like Guendouzi, Havertz, Lacazette, Pepe from the team. We, by the way, could deal with Pepe right now, with Lacazette up top, with Aubameyang in the team. We would be dying for that at the moment. Like, he doesn't admit. He cannot admit that he is wrong. He is never gonna admit that, because that instantly would show most of the fan base that he actually, has got it wrong. Most of the fan base protects him like he's their own father, for fuck's sake. Most of the fan base protect Mikel Arteta like he's their own father. Like he's, I don't know what he has done to them. Most protected manager in the world. Because as soon as he admits that he was fully wrong with the decisions he has made, and there have been loads, let's be real, not to mention the fact that he played injured Declan Rice against Chelsea, injured Odegaard against Chelsea. He played Ben White, who needed a surgery for half a year. He plays them all the time. Doesn't get a backup for Saka, doesn't get backup for Odegaard, for Saliba, no depth in the squad. 800 million spent, 150 on left backs alone. 300 on defense, 250 on the midfield, and 150 only on the attack. And that alone, the 150 on the attack, is solely because we signed Jesus for 45, Trossard for 25, that's already 70. Then if you count Havertz, it's 135, that's about it. He hasn't signed anyone. There is no accountability, and as soon as he admits that he did wrong things, instantly, top gunners are gonna try to protect him. But that, when he admits that, that will prove that fans, for example, like me, like you watching, like Lee Gunner, like Northside, Curtis Shaw, Turkish, Dan Potts, Kenny Ken, Jez, there were millions of them who called Yardman, who called out Arteta, we're right. And let's be real, top gunners don't want to see that we are right. Because they all say, piss off, you're negative, you're toxic, piss off down the line, support Spurs. Because they have this weird illusion, thanks to the PR Arsenal are pushing out every single goddamn day, that everything's fine and dandy. We have released more merchandise this season as a club than we have wins in Premier League. Where does that make sense? More merchandise released than we have wins in the Premier League. Which club operates like that? And every time when things go sour, new merch. Time to go, new merch. And every single time. It's actually mad. Full arrogance with the coaching ability. It's embarrassing. Aubameyang was the best Arsenal striker since Henry. I would say Well, I would say Van Persie is in there, but in between. But ultimately, yeah. And the biggest thing is, Kroenke said, as soon as we move in Champions League, we get into Champions League, we will sprinkle this team with gold dust and we're gonna win all that crap. They said. Imagine the scenes. We are in Champions League. We cannot sign 18-year-old Naipan, for fuck's sake. Yet when we were in Europa League, we had no problem signing Aubameyang. Mind you, it was under Wenger. Wenger at least had some pull. He actually could pull off some proper players. And he was in Europa League at the time. Arteta is in Champions League, and he cannot even sign Naipan. Šeško, a guy who sounds like a local marketplace. Naipan, who sounds like a constipation medicine. He signs Merino because he has the same name as the coach. He cannot sign even players from Europa League for teams that are basically nothing in compared to Arsenal. No offense to all those teams, but you get what I mean in terms of legacy. RB Leipzig was created in 2009. 2009. And we cannot sign a player from there. 2009. That club was created 16 years ago. 16 years ago. And we cannot sign a player called Sesko from there. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Vlahovic left us on red and everything. It's embarrassing to say the least. Liverpool 1-0 up, so it's 1-1 on aggregate. That's the problem I'm going to call as it is. The board are incompetent, Arteta blindly follows. Exactly. Ownership is useless. Board is abysmal. And worst of all, our manager protects all of it. Blindly follows like sheep. We can't even sign Osimhen, Gyökeres, Šeško. Exactly. We cannot sign. We have Champions League, right? We are Arsenal, too. We are in London. 3 things that should basically be enough, no matter how you look at things, to sign big proper players. Not because manager, let's be real, he cannot even pull his own chain properly. But yeah, 3 things that should be enough to sign some bigger names, because we are in a very good spot. We have Champions League. We have obviously marketability. We are big franchise the way our Kroenkes have built it. We have everything. We just don't do it. We cannot do it. We have Eto. A guy that is Edu's notepad in charge as a sporting director. Who he's gonna sign? Oh, it's a different knock when Arsenal come knocking for transfers. Yes, it is. When Arsenal knock, people open the doors, see Eto, they slammed it closed. Nobody wants to talk to him. They think he's a scout boy selling cookies. Nobody wants that. Come on, man. Yeah, Josh said be excited. Well, he said be excited. And what we did, we painted Josh Kroenke mural outside of the Emirates on a wall on a house. That's what we did, be excited. That's how we excited were. We painted Josh Kroenke on the wall outside the goddamn Emirates. Tottenham is smaller than us, but they spend, and we didn't. That's the thing. Spurs have, since Mikel Arteta has been here, Spurs have spent 970 million. Mikel Arteta has spent 800, right? 170 million more Spurs have spent. They are worse than us, let's be real. At the same time, there's a big difference on you spending money and how you spend the money. Because for these 800 million, there's no shadow of a doubt we could have signed 10 times better players. 10 times better players, and we could have proper depth in the team, and we could have a proper squad. We have wasted all the money. Let's be real. And now we are mocking Spurs, we are mocking United. For what? United in the last 2 years has won more than Arsenal have won in the last 5. Spurs are Spurs, let's be real, but at the same time, we are spicy Spurs. We are Spurs. We are not winning anything. We are in the top 4. Only difference from us to Spurs, we are in top 4, they are not. That's the only difference. Because they are not winning shit, we are not winning shit. At the end of the day. Our fan base, for some weird fucking reason, have higher standards for opposing sides than they have for their own team. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, genuinely. Make it make sense. That's the thing. Kroenkes, you can say Kroenkes are pure morons. They are not. They are businessmen. They are not football people. They are not running Arsenal like a football club. They're running Arsenal like it's a business. And it's working, obviously. It's working to the T. They're making income. Income has risen by about 20%. Like what, 20% in the last 2 years or something like that, and everything. They run it as a business. And it works like a charm, let's be real. Anyways, Martinelli gets a 2 and Trossard gets a 1. We are not gonna do Mikel Arteta's interview because no, we might actually do Mikel Arteta's interview. Mikel Arteta's interview, let's see what he has said. Let's see what Mikel Arteta has said about yesterday's game in an interview, because that again could be massive, massive pain. Exactly, we have no right to mock our rivals when we are uselessly failing to spend and strengthen. Exactly. We are not winning anything. We are not spending anything. We are, well, spending technically, but we are not signing the proper players. And every time something goes against us, Arsenal robbed. Arsenal this. Injury crisis. Oh my god. Oh my days. The refs are against us. The Premier League's against us and everything. Instantly. Accountability, non-existent. Blame everyone. Refs, FA, other clubs, other fans, their own mother, for God's sakes, and everything. Not just the club. No accountability for owners, for manager, and for players on themselves. No accountability in that regard. Blame everyone else. Anyways, let's see what Arteta had to say. On the result, we had so many expectations. Yeah, expectations and reality are two different things. On if Newcastle are one of the toughest opponents, yeah, they're really tough. On the fine margins, always the fine margins, could have changed the game. To be honest, if Odegaard scored that chance, we would have been 1-0 up. 1 minute later, then Newcastle doesn't score. But hey ho, Odegaard's, again, like Ozil, he has 1 foot. And even that doesn't work half the time properly. Normally we are much more composed. Well, that didn't look that way. Gabriel Martinelli's fitness. He felt something, I think it was his hamstring. Here we go, Martinelli has a hamstring. And he wasn't comfortable to continue, so we have to have an MRI scan tomorrow to see what extent of the injury. Well, Martinelli could be out for some time. I'm hearing rumors that it potentially could be 3 to 5 weeks as well, by the way. On if tonight's performance was down to the packed schedule. I wouldn't like to say that, especially when we lose a game. Physically, we are tired. Well, whose fault is that you haven't signed enough players to win the fucking game when we don't have proper depth? We play Saka every single game in, game out. Our best players play full 90 for the almost like 50, 60 games a season because you have wasted 800 million signing goalkeepers and left backs, and you have totally neglected our attack that we are now relying on Havertz, Raheem Shillings, for fuck's sake, and Trossard in the attack. And then you sub on Wanyeri and Skelly. How comes we are relying on teenagers again to carry us through the season? Same thing happened with Cesc Fabregas, same happened with Wilshere, Ramsey, Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, and the new flavor of this season, Wanyeri and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Nothing has changed. Ring around, round around we goes. Where we land, nobody knows. Big up, Dilworth. Big up, big up, big up. You're 1-0 up against Spurs. You need one more goal and you're in the finals against Newcastle. Good luck. And you know we play so many games. Well, again, your fault that you haven't prepared the squad. We played so many games with 3 days. Your fault again that you don't have enough players. We knew it was going to be a really high intensity one. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I think emotionally as well, it was very different. That's why you need rotation. Because when you rotate, you just don't rest physically. You rest mentally as well. You need to recharge the batteries on all levels. And if it's an opportunity missed not getting to the final, well, no shit, Sherlock. By the way, we have neglected these cups for 5 years straight. How comes all of a sudden they act like it's the best thing since sliced bread? Embarrassing. On redoubling our efforts, the remaining 2 competitions, well, And if we lost the tie in the first leg, we certainly made it really difficult for ourselves. Yes, you did. You lost at home. Of all the teams, by the way, we had to draw in Carabao Cup semi-finals between Liverpool, Spurs and Newcastle. I said, after we won against Palace, the one team I don't want to get is Newcastle, because they're gonna do us over no matter what. And a few weeks later, we're done and dusted. On if he was surprised Newcastle played the back five, no. On Isak's performance, I'm not a valiant. Yeah, fuck off. This basically was Arsenal yesterday. Big up Matty. Arsenal got spanked left, right and center. And not like that, as you imagine. Not like that. But it's okay, guys. It's okay, guys. This is what Arsenal tweeted a month ago, almost exactly. Pressure is a privilege. We are the Arsenal. Yeah, we are the bottling Arsenal. Pressure is a privilege. Funny enough that every time we are under pressure, we pee our pants, shit our pants, roll over, and fold like a piece of paper. You see the trouble Martinelli is out. We are in trouble up front and our stubbornness failing to sign a striker. It was inevitable. Sooner or later it had to happen. And hopefully at the end of the season, Arteta is gone. Pressure is a privilege. My ass. We cannot even score a goal against Newcastle in 3 games in a row, by the way. Big update to this guy. Under Yardman's stream, by the way, right? He tweeted this. Big up. Arteta. A rookie that embarrasses the Arsenal. Perfectly put. A rookie that embarrasses Arsenal on consistent basis. But don't worry, guys. We are flying to Dubai. Max Dauman is flying to Dubai. And Jack Porter is also flying to Dubai. Don't worry, guys. Arsenal have consulted with all the relevant parties before deciding to take Max Dauman. And key focus has been placed on ensuring his education program. He basically is gonna still learn until he's there. Under 21's manager is gonna be there and everyone. Max Dauman is there. Anyways, new updates as well. Bukayo Saka is traveling to the Dubai with Arsenal's team. Good to know. And this is the big thing this season. Arsenal versus Newcastle. 2 away games, 1 home game. 3 games, 3 wins for Newcastle, 5 goals scored for Newcastle, 0. Zilch, nada conceded. And you know what's the worst part? In the previous round in Carabao Cup, by the way, or was it FA Cup? I don't remember now. Bromley, a League 2 side, played at St. James Park. Within the first 8 minutes of the game, they had scored against Newcastle. They scored in the 8 minutes. We have had 3 shots on target in 3 years against Newcastle at St. James Park. It took them 8 minutes to score. Levels to this game, isn't it? And on game week 37, Newcastle is coming to the Emirates. Depending on what we need from the game, we either gonna fold or we gonna win, I think. Because if the league is done pretty much, we are gonna finish 2nd, 3rd or whatever, we most likely gonna win the game. If the game has any pressure on it, we're probably gonna lose or draw the game. Because there's a big difference when you play these teams in the beginning of the season when there is no pressure whatsoever. Because you have countless games to basically make what you lost. Or you play them at the end of the season when it's basically do or die situation. You win or you basically are done and dusted. 2 different things. And as we all know, Arsenal under pressure are as useful as an umbrella on a sunny day. Irrelevant, pathetic, shambolic, and useless. Ollie Watkins. Market opportunity. Arteta preaches about those, but never signs anyone. Morons. And this is the big one today. I told you all, I told you, that until I see Zubimendi in an Arsenal shirt, I'm not believing these rumors, this bullshit that the PR, that Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano and everyone's feeding about Zubimendi. Real Madrid are advancing in talks for Martin Zubimendi. Zubimendi is not leaving Spain, let's be real. He's either gonna be at Real Madrid or he's gonna be at Barcelona. By the looks of things, that Real Madrid are getting rid of Tchouaméni potentially, and they need a refresh in their midfield. Most likely he's gonna go to Real Madrid. Most likely, let's be real. Newcastle are bogey rivals, as you said, with 3 wins this season to the Toon Army against us. Exactly, not good enough. And that's the worst part is, All 3 games have been lost in the same fashion, with the same tactics, same style, no improvements, and no changes. That just shows that this manager is not good enough. He should be gone from the club. Not good enough. Anyways, yeah, Zubimendi to Real Madrid. This is gonna be fun watching during the summer. This is the big one, by the way. Sam Mogbelan. Don't listen to him, he chats bullshit first of all. But he apparently thinks that Eitzo's transfer approach in January window impressed Arsenal. Don't be surprised that he becomes the main guy during summer when we look for a proper sporting director. Exactly. He's gonna. Not many Spanish players that are high level move away. Predominantly, the big Spanish players go from the small teams to Barcelona, to Real Madrid, or to Atletico Madrid. Predominantly. You'll have some odd ones here or there like David Silva and players like that. Very rarely, but you have. But mostly they play for Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Atletico Madrid. And if they are not in those 3 teams, they probably are not that good enough anyways. We signed Mikel Merino. Why? He is the 3rd or 4th best midfielder in Sociedad on its own. There's Zubimendi, there's Brais Mendes, there's Ager Berenecha, however you pronounce him, the guy who plays number 10 mostly, and then there's only Mikel Merino. He's not even the 2nd or best one. If the Spanish players are good enough, they predominantly are in top 3 La Liga sides. They never leave La Liga. And already, by the way, the PR is starting for the summer. Just to take our focus away. There's a burn-going sense that Arsenal, that they are gearing up for unprecedented summer. Give it a rest. Give it a rest. By the way, this Tim Lewis, right? His hairline, holy crap. It looks like he's just an egghead with a toupee. He genuinely looks like his head is so big, he could cover the whole goal of our defensive line himself. You know that this summer thing is total BS, because in summer we need to sign about 7 players and we need to sell about 5, and then to replace those 5 we need to sign about 2-3 more, so we need to sign about 10 players next summer. Total utter BS. Obviously Saka is going to Dubai, and of course Martinelli is also going to Dubai. But yeah, this is the big one. Let's be real. Let's be real. This is the big one. The foul in our club is just annoying, especially from the top. Or who do you think it's coming? What do you mean the foul in our club? What do you mean specifically? They all are useless. Garlic, Lewis, they none of them are football men. None of them are sports people. They generally are corporate lawyers and corporate financial specialists. That's it. None of them predominantly have any idea how footballing world works and how it's developing at all. Let's be utterly real. So, yeah. Give me a sec. I need to change something for a second. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Well, the way our club is badly run. It's from everywhere. It's from everywhere. It starts obviously from Kroenke's, then it kind of gets extended to the hierarchy, and of course then to Mikel Arteta. They all are connected in one way or the other, ultimately, and it's all their faults on some level or the other. Kroenke's in general, plus for hiring Lewis and Garlic, keeping them in place, and hiring Mikel Arteta. Garlic and Lewis negotiating deals and everything, because legitimately we have Conference League level players, or at best Europa League level players, on Champions League title winning players' salary. That's what we have. We have Europa League players on Champions League title winning players' salary. And that is not acceptable. And of course, Mikel Arteta for pissing down the wind about 400 to 400 from the 750 million spent, more than half. That as well, by the way. It's all of them. It's all of them. And until, well, at least most of them go, nothing will change because Kroenke's gotta go. But for Kroenke's to sell, they need a very massive offer. In my opinion, since Kroenke's were not willing to sell for about 4 million or so, 4 billion, sorry. I assume that the offer the Kroenke's would take, especially with the club, how they have grown in the last few years, most likely they value Arsenal about 6 to 8 billion. And only people who can buy that is maybe Elon Musk, hello, maybe some Saudis, of course, Qataris and people like that, maybe some Chinese people. Chinese owners or Colombian drug lords at the end of the day. Only those. None of the rest of them can afford that. Because Kroenke will want insane amount of money. And they will want about 6 to 8 billion, in my opinion at least. Because they didn't sell for 4, and that was what, 4 years ago? That was just around the time we had the Super League debacle and everything. So it's gonna take substantial amount of time. So yeah, unless we need to also change the hierarchy, and of course we need to change the manager who is not good enough. The issue with all of this is though, even if Kroenke is right, sack Mikel Arteta leaves himself. Do I trust this board and ownership to bring in a proper manager? No, I don't. Because a proper manager will call all this crap out what Kroenkes are trying to pull. All the wool that Kroenkes are trying to pull over our eyes. If you are awake and you have smelled the coffee, you obviously see it. If you don't, you're basically a top gunner who's blindly following like a sheep to all of that. Do I trust this ownership that they will sign a proper replacement? No, I don't. They will want to sign another yes man who's going to try and protect them instead of actually signing a manager who will call everything out, who will have demands, who will have standards, who will have accountability for everyone and to everyone. They don't want that. And obviously, also the biggest part of the fan base, also everything stems on the way have been brought up. Because the way I see it, the biggest chunk of the fan base, right, have not seen Arsenal win the league. They have seen pretty much only Wenger in charge as well, predominantly. So they basically have brought up and grown up with the mindset that Arsenal top 4 is a trophy, like Wenger said, and Champions League is good enough, of course. And to add on top of all of that, basically, one manager is good. Because they have predominantly seen for most of their lives that we have had one manager only. But when you look at other teams, the big teams, right? They have a manager, they back him for a year or two. If it doesn't work, they sack him, if not even sooner, and they go for the next one and they sack and sign and sack and sign until basically they win stuff. Arsenal is the only club who doesn't operate like that. We keep a manager like we do with our players, the players that are not good enough. We tend to treat them like family, give them time, basically let them retire, leave for free and everything. We kept El Neni 3 years too long, 4 years too long. Same goes for, to be honest, also Wenger. He was 3 years too long at Arsenal. He should have left when we won the FA Cup against Aston Villa. He should have left after that. I think that would have been a nice send-off for him, not to stay afterwards. That he should have left then. Let's be real. And it's all like that, and it is what it is. Everything starts from the top and goes to the way down, but yeah, I guess it is what it is. We will have to live and survive by that. But yeah, I don't believe Zubimendi is coming to Arsenal during summer whatsoever. I think he's going to Spain. Yes, all these reports and everything are apparently saying that Zubimendi will sign to Arsenal, but I always have said, until I see the player in Arsenal shirt, I don't believe this, first of all. Second of all, it's in half a year. You know how many things can change a half a year? Injuries, mind changes, everything. Someone talks to him and stuff like that. And for me, personally, if you are basically a top La Liga talent who doesn't play for Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid or Barcelona, if you are good enough and they deem you good enough, eventually they will sign you up. eventually they will sign you up. And if they don't, they just deem you not good enough, and everyone else has a choice to sign him or not. Latest, Kwame and the board have a fight, basically. Talk to some Saudis, organize a boxing match, maybe under like Usyk fight, an undercard, basically Kronkis versus the fans or something like that. Organize something like that and see where it takes you, basically. Could try and do something in those lines. But yeah, ultimately, I guess it is what it is. We'll have to live and survive like that. It's kind of painful, I'm not gonna lie. Anyhow, I think on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream. There was nothing much to talk about. Arsenal were pathetic yesterday, shambolic and embarrassing. Kroenke is out, Arteta out, and everything, of course. We are flying to Dubai, so a few, like about 10 days without football will be very interesting. I have some ideas I will of some streams I could do, especially next week. If I manage to sort StreamYard and everything out on Monday, we actually could have some fun time during the time Arsenal are off, basically with call-in shows and maybe some other streamers. If I can manage to schedule up some streams and everything, we actually could have some good time. So time only will tell, time will show. But ultimately, for now, yeah, for today, that will be it for me. If you haven't, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, all that good stuff. Take care, stay safe, have a nice evening, have a nice day tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a fun one. Definitely tomorrow we will have more exciting stream, let's just put it that way. But yeah, big up Kwame, big up Dilworth, big up Liam Hujoba and everyone, big up BBK Sports. Take care, stay safe, and see you all tomorrow.